Now, a very good morning. Welcome to this program live on Younib TV. This is the Morning Momentum. My name is Hezron Asewe, today being the 28th of February 2025, sitting in for Alphonse Ouma. Let us go straight to the news that made headlines this week. And let us begin with this story of this foreigner who came to Kenya by name Scott Campbell. Scott arrived in the country on the 16th of February this month, and the reason he came to attend a 3-day workshop in Kenya at a JW Marriott Hotel in Nairobi. Then Scott, who is 58 years of age, a senior director with the data analysis company called FICO. Scott, after arriving in Kenya this month on the 16th of February, he went missing on the 17th, just a day after his arrival. Later, the report of his missing was reported at Parklands Police Station here in Nairobi. On Monday this week, on the 21st, his body was identified at Makueni County Referral Hospital. Remember, from Nairobi to Makueni. And after some investigations here and there, 2 people were apprehended by the police, a taxi driver and a bar attendant, who were key suspects in the murder of Scott Campbell. Now, apart from that one, the story says that on Saturday, 2 p.m., a man called Brian Moore from Makueni County reported the issue to the chief of the area when he was herding his cattle, that he saw a sack in the thicket and the sack was smelling. So when the chief arrived at that area, that point, the chief realized that it was a man who could be of age 58 and above, and the body was already decomposing. Only the body to be identified as that of Scott in the hospital in Makueni. So that is how the story went, and until now the suspects are still in police custody, and the vehicle that the taxi that was used to transport, or the man he used, was also confiscated. Now, another story that made headline this week also, we are talking about political areas, whereby yesterday we saw Martha Karua unveiling a new party, People's Liberation Party, which is intending to oust President William Ruto from power. Now, apart from that one also, this week we have seen a chaos between the county of Nairobi together with the Kenya Power and Lighting Company Limited. The county government truck dumped garbage at the Steamer Plaza, leaving a very huge stench that made people unable to work in that office, and even passers-by were unable to move here and there. So power supply was disconnected, and this could be the reason to why this government of Nairobi and the Kenya Power and Lighting Company are in wrangles. So it was because of the cutting of or disconnection of the power from the county offices due to heavy bills. Now, after a short meeting that was held on Wednesday between the governor of Nairobi and some other members, they agreed to have an agreement on how to solve these issues. Now, another top story also that made headline this week, and that is yesterday. It's all about the runner, Agnes Tirop, who was killed back in 2021. The murder trial of Ibrahim Rotich, who is the key suspect in the murder of Agnes Tirop. The suspect of this former runner, Agnes Tirop, was stopped. This trial was stopped yesterday after this suspect failed to appear in court. Remember, according to the presentation, he is allegedly that this guy Abraham killed the athlete on October 12th, 2021 at a rural area in Iten, Elgeyo Marakwet County. The athlete was found dead at her home with stab wounds just days after returning from Germany. So he is the key suspect, Ibrahim Rotich. He is the key suspect in the murder of Agnes Tirop. Remember, Tirop also won some bronze medals, and his life ended just in 2021. That case will also be mentioned again on 12th June this year, 2025. Another story also that made headlines this week is all about this teacher from Nyamira County, Vincent Onyancha. A teacher from Nyamira County, Vincent Onyancha, was physically assaulted by head teacher of the school. According to Onyancha, he came to school late and he went straight to class. Then there, while teaching, the head teacher came and just started beating him up, and he ended up injuring him, and he was finally hospitalized. So from that story, Vincent ended up asking the government together with the Teacher Service Commission to intervene in order to get something better for what has happened. So that's a story that made headlines this week, also from various sources. Now let us get to our newspaper this morning, and on my hand I'm having the Daily Nation. If you have not received yours, you can get it from any vendor out there. And now the first story making headlines: unity test ahead. This is about the presented and united front, but their biggest test yet to come. People's Liberation Party leader, former Deputy Rigathi Gachagua, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Democratic Action Party of Kenya, Eugene Wamalwa, yesterday they met and vowed to oust President William Ruto from power. According to what they spoke yesterday, they can even do it, if possible, before the 5-year term come to an end. So that is a top story that you can find in the 4th page and the 5th page of the Daily Nation. Another story here also is all about the story that I already talked about, the Campbell Scott inside murder of Brighton's last 48 hours in Kenya. Remember, he just entered into Kenya on the 16th of February, and 17th he was reported missing. So that story is found on the 2nd page of the Daily Nation. Just to read, Campbell Scott attended a mixed business with pleasure, much like anyone else, when he arrived in Nairobi for a week-long trip in February 16th. The plan was simple: prepare for business meeting, knock back cold beers, launch product. His company, FICO, developed a conjunction with the TransUnion, one of only 3 licensed credit reference bureaus in Kenya, and then go sightseeing. But what should have been a memorable trip to Africa's most touted business and tourism destination, which Scott might have recommended to his family and friends, turned into a tragic execution. That story, get it more from the 2nd page of the Daily Nation. Now we get to the 4th page, and here is where you find the story of the political story, whereby Kalonzo Musyoka, Martha Karua, and former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua yesterday were together, where Martha Karua was able to launch her party, People's Liberation Party. And now the question here is why new anti-Ruto bid faces old hurdles. Now here, these are some of the hurdles. Remember, Jubilee Party Fred Matiang'i was picked by Jubilee Party to be like their next flag bearer. So he was not in attendance yesterday. This is a big hurdle. Former Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, who was absent during the new party launch in Nairobi, also in the shadow of potential presidential candidate. This is a big hurdle that this new coalition might face. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party said to be backing Dr. Matiang'i's candidature. Apart from that one, also some top politicians have recently declared their intentions to run for office, triggering fear that they could repeat the mistake that befell the original Ford movement back in the year 1992. So these are just a few, but you can get a full story from page 4 of the Daily Nation. Now, Raila lists Ruto should fix as he plans a major announcement. Kenyans are really waiting for a major announcement of Raila, his next big move. Many are trying to think that maybe there could be another prime minister coming in the broad-based government, but Raila said he was going to seek audience with the people before making the announcement. And yesterday, Bwana Odinga was in the Luo Nyanza, Homa Bay, and Migori before making an announcement very soon. Now, the story here, the Orange Democratic Movement, ODM leader Raila Odinga has called for solutions to issues affecting the county, saying many Kenyans have urged him to put an end actions that derail development. During a consultative meeting in Homa Bay yesterday, Mr. Odinga said he has listened to Kenyans during the tour across the country following his loss to the African Union Commission chairperson bid. He noted that most of them are concerned about various issues bevelling the county. Now, that story, you can also find it on the 5th page of the Daily Nation. Another story here also on the 6th page of the Daily Nation is why lawyers and ex-judges may lose senior counsel ranks. Now, here 34 lawyers and retired judges conferred the rank of senior counsel during the presidency of Mwai Kibaki and Uhuru Kenyatta. They could lose the title of petition filed in court sails through. If that petition sails, then these judges, 34 of them in number, might miss out on these top senior counsel jobs. Those targeted include retired Chief Justice Willy Mutunga, former Attorney General and Busia Senator Amos Wako, Paul Muite, Fred Ojiambo, and Gibson Kamau. They were among the first group of 19 lawyers to be conferred the rank by President Kibaki back in the year 2003. Also targeted are 15 lawyers in the second cohort conferred by the rank of Mr. Kenyatta in 2013. They include Ahmed Nasir Abdullahi, Siaya Governor James Orengo, Kisumu Senator Tom Ojienda, former Attorney General Githu Muigai, Feroz Norweji, former Cabinet Secretary Rachel Omamo, Nyamira Senator Okongo Omugeni, and George Oraro, among others. So that is a story that you will find in page 6 of the Daily Nation. Another story also on page 7 is about the wrangles between the Nairobi County government with the Kenya Power and Lighting Company. And on that page, you can see the picture of the Nairobi governor, Johnson Sakaja. Kenya Power is the villain, not a victim. That is according to Johnson Sakaja, the governor of Nairobi County. Now, the the standoff between the Nairobi County government and Kenya Power has reignited a long-standing dispute between counties that and parastatals over arbitrary and punitive disconnections. Governor yesterday accused Kenya Power of using disconnections as a weapon, often cutting off electricity to crucial institutions like schools and hospitals without due process or considering the consequences. So that story you can find and read it in full from page 7 of the Daily Nation. Now, another story here of more than 40 Kenyans who are stranded in Myanmar. More than 44. Why 44 Kenyans are still stranded in Myanmar? This is a story that is found on page 8. State says budget cuts could stall the process of repeating the citizens. So some Kenyans, 44 of them, remain stranded in Myanmar and Thailand due to budget cuts to the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection Principal Secretary Joseph Montari had told a parliamentary committee when he appeared there yesterday. Mr. Montari informed lawmakers that the 44 had reported to Kenyan embassy in Thailand and were ready to return home. So this story in full, grab your copy of the Daily Nation and check it on page 8. Now, if you proceed also, another big story here, fear of surge in STIs as condoms shortage bites. Now, this is a story, you can see a picture of a procession at Uhuru Park, which was meant to create awareness of using condoms to stop the spread of HIV and other sexually transmitted infections. Now, another story also here, the same, the price of condoms have either doubled or tripled in the past 3 years, leading to washing and reusing. According to these people, some of their members, the sexual workers, the sex workers, some of our members are now washing and reusing condoms. Nairobi has over 200,000 sex workers, according to the database that they have. That is a story that you can find on the 10th page of the Daily Nation. So make sure to that you grab your copy today to take this story. Now we skip some other pages. We go direct to international news. International news also on this page. Before international, we have county news here. You will find county news on page 21 of the Daily Nation, whereby auditor, according to the auditor, City Hall staff pay changed 6 times in a year. That's a report you can read from page 6 of the Daily Nation, from page 21 of the Daily Nation. Now, footage of advocate killing colleague presented in court. Now, detectives working on a murder case facing an Eldoret-based advocate have released CCTV footage showing him hitting colleague with a beer bottle during a house party. The footage was presented to High Court in Eldoret. Cyber crime detective from the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, DCI headquarters in Nairobi. So this case was really hard. You can get it on page 22 of the Daily Nation. Apart from that one, also court has awards impeached speaker 6 months salary. 6 months salary for impeached speaker. Now let's go to the world news, and here we can see the picture of Pope Francis. Now, Pope was in Vatican cash struggle before sickness. That is the big headline there. Before he was hospitalized for double pneumonia, Pope Francis was battling resistance from some cardinals about pledging a widening gap in the finance of Vatican. 3 days before being taken to hospital, Francis ordered the creation of high-level commission to encourage donations to the headquarters of the 1.4 billion member Catholic Church. So remember, the Pope is currently sick in Vatican, and to get more story on why you can see the struggle with the cash was there, that one is on page 25 of the Daily Nation. Business news is also featured on page 26, and the big story here is Metropolitan Sacco now insolvent, declares state. Apart from that one, EAPC posts Kenya shillings 35 million profit as revenue hits 3 billion. Now we now get to sports on the other side of the newspaper. Sports. Now the members Royal gears up for 100th edition of Tannehill Shield Tournament. KPMN eyes title league after sealing. Here just a little Kosgei, who is a member of this KPA, said that 2027 Cup of National Finals with Uganda and Tanzania. For its latest renovations done from last year, the 42-year-old facility has undergone a remarkable transformation to bring compliance with CAF, that is CAF standards. Remember, for this country to host the Confederation of African Football, that is African Cup, which is coming later in 2027, these fields that should be hosting these games must concur with the standards of CAF. And remember, Nyayo Stadium initially had no standards that are required, and that's why it must undergo renovation. Remember, this stadium is 42 years ever since it was constructed. Lastly, here we have Leopards count losses of postponed clash with Gor. Frustrated AFC Leopards are ruining the lost. Frustrated AFC Leopards are fearing the lost revenue estimated to millions of shillings from their postponed Football Federation of Kenya Premier League match against rivals Gor Mahia. The hugely anticipated match was scheduled to be held on Sunday, first at Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, then at Nyayo Stadium, before being postponed as both facilities were not available for the fixture. The reason why this match has now been rescheduled is because the facilities are not available for the fixture. So the match was originally scheduled for MISC in November 2024. That is the story about the Mashemeji Derby, the match that is only awaited by many in Kenya between Gor Mahia and AFC Leopards. And on the last page of the Daily Nation, scandal, pain of unremitted shillings 2 billion lecturers' pension. Now, lecturers and university staff risk retiring in poverty as employers are withholding pension contribution now to tailing 25.9 billion. According to the records from the universities fund, show that unremitted employer pension contributions are the largest pending bills for university, surpassing pay as you earn, that is pay, arrears and debts owed to suppliers and contractors. So that is all about the newspaper review here. You can grab your page, your paper today, the Daily Nation, and go through to get more information. Standing in for Alfonso Ouma, my name is Hezron Asewe. Thank you so much for watching, and a lot of thanks also to John and Peninah Wachera, who are key in making sure this one goes on air. From my side, do have a lovely day.